Previously on the Pastor's Chronicles.
The attack that happened on the World Trade Towers in New York occurred on September 11th, 2001. Now, the American Airlines flight number 11 was the first flight hijacked. The flight 11 call letters were AA11. A equals 1, A equals 1, AA equals 11, flight 11. The American airline number is 1-800-245-0999. Now you do the math. 1 plus 8 plus 0 plus 0 plus 2 plus 4 plus 5 plus 0 plus 9 plus 9 plus 9 plus 9 equals 47. So all of it equals 47. 4 and 7 equals what? 11. So the emergency telephone number for North America is what? 911. For any information you need on the telephone, we dial what? 411. Manhattan Island was discovered when? September the 11th, 1609 by Henry Hudson. He has 11 letters in his name. The state of New York was the 11th state added to the Union. September 11th is the 254th day of the year. 2 plus 5 plus 4 equals 11. After September 11th, there are 111 days left to the end of the year. Exactly 1 year after 9/11 attacks, the winning numbers drawn in New York State Lottery for September 11th, 2002 were 911. This lottery is called Numbers and was broadcast live on television. On the morning of September 11, 2002, the numbers of 2,801, 2 plus 8 plus 0 plus 1 equals what? 11. Victims were read at ground zero. The World Trade Center Twin Towers standing side by side look like number 11. Each of the Twin Towers of New York's World Trade Center had 110 stories and were among the 10 tallest buildings in the world. There's 11 letters in Trade Center. There's 11 letters in skyscrapers. There's 11 letters in New York. 11 letters in the Pentagon. There's 11 letters in Afghanistan. One of the terrorists by the name of Ramzi Youssef, he got 11 letters in his name. 119 is the area code to Iraq and Iran. 1 plus 1 plus 9 is 11. Muhammad, the prophet of the Muslim faith, died in 632 AD. 6 plus 3 plus 2 is 11. Muhammad's birth is celebrated on the 11th day of the 9th month, 9/11. The Twin Towers equals 11, plus flight equals 11, plus September 11th equals 33. In the Brotherhood of Freemason, 33 is the highest degree. George W. Bush is a member of the Skull and Bones, a spin-off of the Brotherhood. July the 6th, 1946 was George Bush's birthday. It can be reduced to the power number 33. 7 plus 6 plus 1946 equals 33. The perfect one to be president at that time because of his birthday that adds up to 33. So George W. Bush has 11 letters. Adolf Hitler has 11 letters. World War I has 11 letters. World War II has 11 letters. Films and television programs produced before 2001 that featured the Twin Towers of the World Trade Center or events similar to 9/11 were edited in re-airings of television shortly after the attacks. One such example is an episode of The Simpsons, The City of New York versus Homer Simpson, which originally aired on September 21st, 1997. The main setting of which is the World Trade Center. There is a scene in this episode where Bart Simpson is holding up a newspaper with the image of Twin Towers and the number 9. The New York-based Band Dream Theater released a live album titled Live Scenes from New York on September 11, 2001, on the same day as the day of Trade Center attacks. The cover art depicts the Manhattan skyline, including the World Trade Center's towers, in flames. It was immediately recalled and the artwork altered. The music video from a song called Piece by Piece by the British band Feeder was also changed. The original video depicts animated characters of the band playing in a New York skyscraper with the World Trade Center in the background and planes flying nearby. In the video, the band was portrayed jump from the window of the building. Welcome to Zero-Days Chronicle. Before starting the video, make sure to smash that like button. Do it now, it only takes a second to do it. And hit the subscribe button and the bell to turn on notifications so you can be informed whenever I upload new chronicles. Also, visit my website, that is tpchronicles.com. There you can read articles and see videos that cannot be uploaded on YouTube. You don't want to miss those videos. The link is in the description box below. Also, join me on Facebook, Twitter, IG, TikTok, social platforms. If you are down with the campaign, type CN, which stands for Chronicle Nation, in the comment section. Upon that note, let's get into this next video, and it goes like this.
You can see behind me, it's pretty quiet on South Street now as detectives continue to do their work. But a few hours ago, whole different story. People out enjoying themselves on South Street. They had to sprint to safety when they heard the flurry of gunshots. Take a look. The last time we heard from police, they told us 14 people have been shot. 3 of them, 2 men and a woman, were pronounced dead with multiple gunshot wounds. If you come to South Street, you know there's lots of bars here, restaurants, and on summer weekend nights, there are lots of police officers. That's standard procedure. Officers quickly engaged at least one person who was shooting in the crowd. They literally watched him shooting. So an officer fired at him. They're not sure if that person was hit, but they did drop their semi-automatic handgun with an extended magazine before they took off on foot. Police found another handgun here as well. And when businesses reopened this morning, detectives are going to be asking them to check their surveillance footage.
Welcome back to TPC, which stands for the Pastors Chronicles. This is Zero-Day Chronicle Chapter 1F. Before we get started, I just want to address this. Please like this video, subscribe to my channel, hit that notification bell so you won't miss out whenever I upload new chronicles. Be a part of this movement, the Chronicle Nation. Your likes and comments will also help the algorithm so many people can see this video. Upon that note, let's go ahead and go forward with this video. And we're going to touch on mind control and how these shootings come about. Stay tuned. The film is based on the Columbine High School massacre. Now, Elephant is related also to the Columbine High School massacre. An original day at a typical American high school takes a sudden tragedy in the hours leading up to a catastrophic act of violence committed by 2 disturbed youths. What causes these men to do what they do is called mind programming. I don't have evidence of this, but troubled kids could have been approached or threaten. And most good men are under control, Chronicle Nation. The list is long. One thing I know for sure is false flags happen, whether it be a lie or people die, or majority of the time, false flags happen. Many shootings are planned and fabricated, and instigators are on the ground to keep the war on the streets going for a form of a political or governmental takeover to further the assaults on freedoms. Movies are created and sound waves are manipulated to distort and influence the brain's civic part that controls the passions, the reasons, and the emotions. When the mind is distorted and is owned by what it sees and what it hears, human nature will do horrific
Interrupt this
things.
Bird Box Explain for a special message for Netflix. And now back to our regularly scheduled programming. But this still doesn't explain the biggest mystery of the film. What the hell is the monster? Now, for the purposes of this segment, I'm going to go back referring to it as a creature and as a force, so just bear with me here. So let's start with what we know. Starting in and around summer, a mysterious force appeared in parts of Siberia and Russia, which made people suicidal. This force then spread over a matter of days, eventually spreading to California, where the majority of our story takes place. As evidenced with Jessica, this force, when seen, alters people's psychological makeup, and this alteration manifests itself in different ways depending on the person. For example, happy people like Mallory's sister, or Lydia, Douglas's wife, who he called the kindest woman on earth, kill themselves. Mallory even says when describing her sister being taken over that this force made her sister sad. This creature also draws you in by manipulating your thoughts. When Lydia is drawn to it, she hears her mom talking to her, a mom Douglas exclaims has been dead for 10 years. On the other hand, we have those who are affected by this force in different ways, those who aim to harm others, like Charlie's co-worker, who he tells us is an ex-convict, and the mental asylum escapees from Northwood. These evil ones all have in common a violent or mentally deranged past. They have already lived their deepest, darkest fears and thus are affected differently by this creature than others.
Okay, this is a spoiler alert. I just want to break some things down to you, Chronicle Nation. What is this monster that affects people differently? What power controls how people think and manipulates an individual's makeup? It's revealed as a creature or a monster that you can't see, but when you look at it, it controls your belief and molds your thinking. Do you think Bird Box is telling us what it is? Of course. Remember, it contains and trigger. It controls and contains, and they have triggers or trigger words that causes rage and suicidal thoughts. It will also cause people to get furious. It is a mysterious passive force that spreads and affects us all in one way or another. This force draws you in by manipulating your thought routine. What do you think it is? It is mass media, family. It is mass media, family. It is mass media. And we're going to break this down in this chronicle. What is the secret society saying here to one another? That they're going to use mass media, social media, to control the masses, to control what the masses do, believe, act, hate, love. Mass media is the Bird Box. It is the control mechanism that causes people to react the way they react.
And just a note, I do know that not all who are psychologically damaged are violent. I know I'll get hate in the comments if I don't bring that up. The TV announcer says it's not a virus and its origins are unknown. But Charlie, our resident conspiracy theorist, believes he has an explanation. What's happening is the endgame, or end of the world. Humanity has been judged and we've been found wanting. Judged by what he refers to as spirit creatures who take the form of our worst fears, deepest sadness, and greatest loss. Thus, a slew of demons demons from around the world who manipulate the minds of their victims. These demons come from various religions and mythologies and include the Akamana and Devas from the Middle East Zoroastrian religion, Surrogat from ancient Christian occultists, and the interesting thing about this one is it made pregnant women believe their children were lobsters or spiders. It cuts directly to pregnant Mallory when he says this. There's also the Hula Jane from China and the Puka from Hulu. He says they're all different names, but they all mean the same thing, the end of us. But one thing we know is that we can't see it, and that's why we actually never see these creatures in the film. The filmmakers wanted us to put us in the shoes of the characters, to have us, the viewer, as blind as them.
Please take this time to subscribe, hit the bell to turn on your notifications. You may need to come back sometime Tuesdays and Thursdays around 5:45 Eastern Standard Time because YouTube believes in shadow blocking, which means everyone will not get notifications, because what they're trying to do is destroy all channels like this that exposes what the enemies are doing. Why would it be young people that the synagogues of Satan targets to further gun control? Parents don't realize that their children are the lawful prey of the enemy, especially kids from broken homes. The word that we will use is called brainwashing. The Bible identifies the brain as the capital of the soul, which is also classified as the heart. The synagogues of Satan starts the brainwashing at an early age through mass media. And once the brainwashing takes place, which controls the young mind, witchcraft catches its fish, the soul becomes malignant and destructive. When this happens, laws are compelled. If a fish isn't detected, the Drago Brotherhood will fabricate one and build a story around it to push more laws that will eat away your freedom. The Bible said in Matthew 3:10, the axe is already at the root of the trees, and every tree that does not produce good fruit will be cut down and thrown into the fire. Why is it that the tree doesn't produce fruits, Chronicle Nation? Because parents allow Satanism to enter their homes to devour their kids through movies, cartoons, videos, games, satanic illuminated music. And the fruits that will be manifested in your sons and daughters are the spirits of witchcraft. This is precisely the agenda, because the people who they idolize are witches and warlocks and pedophiles. I want to read a statement from a Nazi propaganda minister by the name of Joseph Goebbels. And I probably butchered that name, but anyway, this is what he said. The rank and file are usually much more primitive than we imagine. Propaganda must, therefore, always be essentially simple and repetitious. The most brilliant propagandist technique will yield no success unless one fundamental principle is borne in mind constantly. It must confine itself to a viewpoint and repeat them repeatedly. Let's take what Adolf Hitler said. He said, "How fortunate for governments that the people they administer don't think." Let's take it from Goebbels and Hitler and understand what they're talking about. They are actual experts on mass brainwashing. And the U.S. government, particularly the CIA, has learned a great deal from the Nazis. See, the Nazis in turn discovered a great deal from American corporate advertising techniques and the American mass media. The American corporate mass media is the world's most intelligent practitioners of what its student Goebbels preached. Repetition to the simple-minded with repeatedly lies for months and years until the lies take on their own life. And all the American sheeple repeat them unthinkingly as commonly accepted facts. Mind programming, predictive programming, prepares lost souls that don't have the fruits of Christ, that shields the soul from becoming zombies for depopulation or for devastation that we are seeing in our world today. This will open the way for order out of chaos. This is what 0-day is all about.
Put the gun down, we'll talk about this. Yeah, shut up.
From a statement by a guy by the name of George Orwell in 1984. He said, so long as they continue to work and breed, their other activities were without importance. Let me say that again. He said, he's talking about the citizens of the United States of America, including citizens worldwide. He said, so as long as they continue to work and breed, their other activities were without importance. Left to themselves, like cattle turned loose upon the plains of Argentina, they had reverted to a style of life that appeared to be natural to them, a sort of ancestral pattern. They were born, grew up in the gutters, went to work at 12, passed through a brief blossomy period of beauty and sexual desire, married at 20, were middle-aged at 30, and died, for the most part, at 60. Heavily physical work, the care of home and children, petty quarrels with neighbors, films, football, beer, and above all, gambling filled up the horizon of their minds. To keep them in control was not difficult. In other words, what is this man saying? Your life is a blueprint. The way we live, what we do is constructed. The beefs or animosity we have, they are all constructed. They are all built. Throughout your life, you have problems here, and there, and you die. Things are irrelevant in your life as long as you work, and die.
Anyway, Mr. Lewis, whatever.
You declare them non-essential, shut them down. Suddenly Amazon and Walmart and the big box stores can come in and take away all the market share. In the meantime, the people on Main Street have to keep paying off their credit cards or their mortgage. So they're in a debt entrapment. And they're desperate to get cash flow to cover basically their debts and their day-to-day expenses. In the meantime, you have the Federal Reserve institute a form of quantitative easing where they're buying corporate bonds, and the guys who are taking up the market share can basically finance at 0 to 1%, or their banks can at 0 to 1%, when everybody in Main Street is paying 16 to 70% on their credit cards without income.